Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And for today's headlines, not too many articles here, but these two here are telling an interesting story. That's why I have them paired together. So let's take a look here. So on the first side of things, you have here negotiators make, quote, progress toward second round of Pakistan talks, while more U.S. troops prepped to deploy near Iran. Summary: the Iran war is very close to over, with authorities in Tehran eager to agree to a peace deal. Trump says, adding, "We've beaten them militarily." Axios cites progress toward framework to end war. And something that comes to mind then is, why is the U.S. prepping more troops to be deployed near Iran? And what happened to Karg Island? What happened to the oil that they wanted over there? So some of these things that Trump has mentioned, and also that Israel has mentioned, that have not been done yet, what happens then? Are they going to abandon those so-called goals? Because some of those things they said, wasn't just for market hype. A lot of it was, but some of them were things that they sound like they really want to do. Okay. So it says here, AP and Bloomberg, I believe that's Associated Press, reporting the two sides have an in-principle agreement to pursue further diplomacy. However, this is battered down as unconfirmed by Tehran and a U.S. official. The Pentagon is sending thousands of additional troops into the Middle East in coming days. Right? Once again, something that's interesting there to think about. Right? Why are you sending in more troops over there? Trump claims China very happy the U.S. is permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz, as he says, even though he has a blockade over there. Also, Xi told him Beijing is not sending weapons or defense items to Tehran. And even if they were, why would they tell you that they were? It's like you're stealing from some store and then they ask you, hey, are you stealing from us? And then you're just going to be like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Significant Lebanon fighting continues. Israel issues more evacuation orders, moving into south. Tehran outraged, threatens Red Sea shipping. Unconfirmed reports of 1 week Lebanon ceasefire. Now, right now, what do you have going on? Right, you have this talks between the U.S. and Iran, and then you have what were supposed to be some talks also of a peace or ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, which, I mean, they're conflicting reports on that. Some are saying that they're against it. Some are saying that they're for it. They're gonna do it. Okay, so you have all that going on. But let's read here a little bit about this portion here, right? This portion about the progress that they're making, at least as some news sources are reporting. So progress reported in U.S.-Iran contracts. Axios reports that U.S. and Iran negotiators made progress in talks on Tuesday, while moving closer to a framework agreement to end the war. According to the two U.S. officials, the headline briefly pushed oil lower. And it's look at what has happened to the markets, what has happened to the price of oil since February 28th. Okay, it's just been 100%, if not more, volatile. Going up, going down, going up. It's like a roller coaster. And they manipulate that. And those who are so-called doing insider trading, they make a lot of money off of that. Don't forget that. So, I mean, shit, if my end goal was to, I have something in mind that I'm going to do regardless. But in the meantime, as I get there, I can make some good gains by manipulating the markets through different headlines. Well, of course. Why wouldn't you do that? So where are we at? This comes as Pakistan's top general headed a high-ranking political security delegation from Pakistan to convey the U.S. message and plan the second round of talks to Tehran, per details in Axios. They were on the phone and back channeling with all the countries, and they are getting closer, the U.S. official said. A second U, and that's the thing though, right? And I have a precept on it, but it's never enough. He cannot be satisfied. That's describing Esau Edom. Okay, he is as hell. He can't be satisfied. Today it's okay. We negotiated some deal for peace, and then tomorrow it's, well, now we want your oil, and we got the troops in place for it. What's it gonna be? And wait till you hear what Israel is saying. The Mossad, one of the heads over there is saying. A second U.S. official confirmed progress was made Tuesday. We want to make a deal, and parts of their government. Now, this is from a U.S. official apparently here saying that Slovakia, that we want to make a deal, that is the U.S., and parts of the Iranian government want to make a deal. Part, keyword is parts. Because like I've mentioned before, not the whole entire Iranian government or leadership are on board with this. Now the trick is to get the whole government over there to make the deal, a third U.S. official said. And that's probably not it doesn't seem like something that they're trying to do. Remember, some of these, for example, some of the leaders in the IRGC, they after they killed, the Ayatollah, right, Khamenei, and they basically did all this damage. They killed so many different generals, so many, different leaders in there, right? And the energy and aggression they came with, it put them in that mindset of war. So it's not going to be an easy thing. Now they've done that, they enter that mindset to say, okay, now let's go and make a deal with the same people who bombed us, who've been doing all of this when we were in the process of making a deal with them last time. So it's going to be hard to try and get everybody on board to try and do that. Meanwhile, State Tasnim is reporting that Pakistan is getting ready to host the second round of Iran-U.S. talks. And there's definitely something more at play here. So this here is the Mossad chief, and this is what he's declaring. And I'm going to read a good portion of this article because it's pretty interesting, the things that he's saying. Mossad chief declares mission in Iran not over until regime falls. And what they're letting you know, or at least what he's letting you know, is that it doesn't matter if there is a ceasefire. It doesn't matter if there's an agreement that is made between the U.S. and Iran and they come to it. Israel will not be satisfied so long as Iran maintains the state that they're in now. Basically, so long as Iran is not under the foot or thumb or complete control over of either Israel or the U.S., because the U.S. is practically a proxy of Israel, for those that don't already know. So it says here, a 2-week Iran-U.S.-Israel ceasefire is still in effect despite the collapse of last weekend's Islamabad talks, where the big hang-up was fierce disagreement over Iran's nuclear development. The clock is ticking amid efforts to hold more direct talks by the end of this week. What's unlikely to help things move along is a fresh statement from Mossad director David Barnea while speaking at a Hollow Remembrance Day. I had to pause there for a second. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure YouTube has algorithms that are tracking that word as well. And they like to flag videos if you even mention certain keywords there. So, yeah. Remembrance Day ceremony in Jerusalem on Tuesday. He boasted that Mossad assets have been operating from the heart of Tehran, and that the fight is not over until there's regime collapse or overthrow. And usually in situations like this, they have all different kinds of agents that play different roles. And some of them's job are just to lie in wait until, let's say, there's somebody in the cabinet somewhere, or somebody in their in the opposition's government somewhere, and their job is to play the agent, be there until whoever it is that this agent is working for takes out the actual leaders of their enemies, right? And then coincidentally, and I'm saying that with quotes, air quotes, this agent is promoted to some position of high authority. So his job was just to go in there, lie dormant, go along with the things, and when the time comes, we'll put you in a position of authority, and you just do whatever we tell you to do. Puppet rulers, okay? So sometimes that's how they have puppet rulers, where they plant them in there for a long time, just for that moment where once they've gotten rid of any opposition, they can set up these agents as rulers there to go along with whatever they want. So he's saying something interesting here. He's basically saying that they have agents, spies, in the heart of Tehran, even though Iran said that they had rooted out, majority, if not all, of them. He said of Iran's premier intelligence agency that it operated in the heart of Tehran during the recent U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran. And further, that we brought precise intelligence to the Air Force and we hit missiles that threatened Israel. But our mission has yet to be completed, the spy chief added. We didn't think that this mission would be completed immediately with the end of the battles, but we planned intensively for our campaign to continue and achieve results even in the period after the strikes in Tehran. So he's telling you this is not a short-term plan. This is a long-term plan that doesn't end until they reach their destination or they reach their goal. And their goal that they're trying to reach cannot be obtained through peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. That's not what they want. Okay? Mossad's involvement in counter-Iran action, he continued, will end only when this radical regime is replaced. So if they make a so-called peace deal, that's not a replacement. Then what that tells you is these people will find a way to re-trigger or do something to try and get, because they haven't reached their goal. Barnea made it clear that regime change in Iran is our mission. We will not stand by watching in the face of another existential threat. Ironically, Israeli media is still trying to pour cold water on persistent reporting of an Israeli role in convincing the White House to unleash the massive bombing campaign on Iran. Let's see what else we got here. We got a little bit more in here. Maybe I might play this here. This is the Mossad chief, David Barnea, on Mossad's operation in Iran.
האיום האיראני הלך והתעצם מול עינינו, לנגד עיני העולם.
No, well, guess there's no, ain't no translations on that. But let's read it here. The Iranian threat, and this is what he's saying here, or maybe some summary of it, intensified before our eyes and those of the world without restraint. We warned of the nuclear danger as an existential threat. We warned about the growing number of ballistic missiles threatening Israeli civilians across the country and about the danger posed by the Iranian regime. Ultimately, we took our fate into our own hands and launched 2 necessary wars. Barnea added that the campaign is not over, that Mossad agents have operated inside Iran, and that the operation will only conclude with a change of regime in Iran. So he's making it sound like not only do they still have, goals and ambitions, which they haven't conquered yet, but they have plans to achieve them, which makes you then start to think twice about what's going on here. If if Israel is putting batteries in the back of the U.S. and then the U.S. is here making, as they're calling progress in peace talks with Iran, but Israel's goals seem to differ from that, then something is not adding up here. All right, something is not adding up here. And I mean, that's always going to be the case. There's the overt, the what's going on outwardly where everybody can hear, where how it affects the markets and so on. And then there's things that go on behind the scenes. Even the fact this speech that he just came out and gave, has some elements of psyop in it, because it's going to draw certain ears, certain reactions in people's minds as well. So only time will tell at the end of the day, right? Because we know, once again, that things are going to go in line of prophecy, right? But what exactly, triggers or pushes this into the next phase yet again, we have to wait and see. So U.S. wars spanning from Vietnam. Okay, cool. Don't really need to get into this part right here. Actually, hold up. Yeah, cool. Now, this is Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, right? Very solid and sound words of wisdom here. That is, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Now, I mean, personally speaking, I don't think that Iran trusts the U.S., but they're trying to have some level of diplomacy in hopes that they can, find a way around this. But the problem with that is that even still involves some level of trust. Even if you don't trust them, you're trusting that they're going to uphold their end of whatever deal you come to. But as it says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, verse 11, and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So you're going to find out very soon why this is the man of sin. Okay? And so, once again, we're going to watch and see, as the stage of prophecy, continues to progress, right? Because the Heavenly Father is controlling all of this anyway. But also keep your eye on the things within, the digital currency advancements, right? The different legislations they're pushing, because it's not just what's going on outside of America, but also what's going on internally. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.